Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Shelley Law, and my law firm assists professionals with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about how do you quit a job that you just started, but you don't particularly like. So, the biggest thing to identify initially is, did you sign an employment contract or an independent contractor agreement? If you have not signed either of those two things, then you are very likely an at-will employee, which means either party can kind of terminate the relationship at any time for any reason. So let me be more specific. Let's say you're working an hourly job in retail. You're not going to have signed an employment agreement or an independent contractor agreement. You just did an interview, they offered you a job, and you started. You can quit at any time. Now, it's kind of, I would say, readily accepted that a 2-week notice period is a professional amount of time to provide someone if you're going to quit a job. However, there certainly are circumstances that would dictate leaving a job immediately, once again, assuming you have not signed a contract. If you're being harassed, if you feel unsafe, if they're asking you to do things that are not, within your job description or job duties, all of these things could contribute to someone wanting to leave a job immediately. And in that case, you can just say, I'm resigning effective immediately and leave. There really won't be any kind of negative repercussions. The only negative repercussion that possibly could stem from doing that would be, obviously, if you list them on your resume in the future, and a prospective employer calls your old position. Most of the time, the smart employers will just give the dates of employment and that's it. But sometimes you'll get a chatty manager who kind of wants to throw you under the bus for not providing notice. So if you don't give 2 weeks notice and you're not, you haven't signed an employment contract or independent contractor agreement, really the only downside is the potential for your old position to maybe talk negatively about you, although they shouldn't. All right. The next step would be, if you have signed a contract, there will, or at least there should be, language in there that states how you can terminate it. So even if you're in an at-will employment state, if you've signed an employment agreement and it states you must provide 90 days notice in order to leave the position, the contract trumps the at-will employment status, and you have to give whatever notice you agreed to. So most contracts, it'll just simply say you must provide written notice in the form that's kind of dictated in the contract. Usually at the end of the agreement, there'll be some kind of section called notice or notices, which will tell you kind of how to provide effective notice, who to send it to, in what form, that type of thing. And then you would give notice, and then you would have to work those 90 days. Now, there are obviously other ways to terminate a contract than without cause. One could be just by mutual agreement, meaning both parties are just like, yeah, this isn't working out, let's just end it immediately, and that's the end of it. Or you could do, a for-cause termination, and that would mean it, and this is from the employee perspective, if you think that the employer has breached the contract in some way, there should be language in there that states you have to give them written notice, they're in breach of contract. And then usually there's some kind of, what's called like a cure period, meaning they have a set amount of time to fix whatever the breach is. And then if they do fix the breach, you cannot terminate the contract immediately. However, if they do not, fix whatever the problem is, then the employee would have the option of terminating the contract immediately. So that's how you quit a job that you just started, that you don't particularly like. If it's just an hourly position with no contract, you can do it immediately with, no really negative legal repercussions. However, if you've signed a contract that states how much notice you have to provide, you need to provide that much notice. I guess the kind of negative repercussions of not providing that notice, they could sue you for damages. So recruitment fees to replace you, if they have to hire short-term work to fill in the gaps, those types of things. So it's a big risk, and it's one not worth taking, in my opinion. So anyway, if you have any questions about employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm at the contact information listed below in the description, and I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.